This is the Gaia Centre. We call it the Gaia Centre. That's the Gaia is the planet Earth in Greek, and we like the name. In fact, all ecologists call the planet Earth, the living planet Earth, we call it Gaia. So we've called this the Gaia Centre because it really is it's a very beautiful example of eco-renovation. This building began life just as a asbestos roof held up by three ugly cement columns, and we've transformed it into a beautiful office space with a bed, a dining table, and a very unique rocket stove heater. The original design of this heater, which was designed by rather a clever American stove designer employed by the Guatemalan government in the year 2000 to solve a problem that they had in Guatemala City. In that time, the farming around Guatemala City had failed, and all the farmers moved into town to look for work. And so they made a campsite all the way around the outside of the city, and they started cutting down the trees to burn to cook their food. And of course, the trees were disappearing very quickly. So the government got very upset about this, and they decided to do something about it. They employed a guy to solve the problem, and this is the invention that he made. Basically, it's a piece of chimney pipe made out of quite thick steel, because the temperature in here is going to get very high, and just with an elbow on it. And what you do is you put very small amounts of wood into here. There's complete combustion in this burn tunnel. The temperature in this burn tunnel can go up to 800 degrees, which is very high, and it burns all the gases from the wood. So what comes up here is a very hot flame, water vapour, and carbon dioxide. So there isn't any pollution from this device at all, and it uses very little wood. In fact, immediately it solved the problem, because they were using 80% less wood than they were before they started using rocket stoves. So this was the original rocket stove design. Obviously you put your pan of food on the top, and the flames go directly underneath the pan, so there's no heat wasted to the outside. You're not heating up the air above the cooker. So the green builders got hold of the idea, and they came up with lots of different designs. Now they're on rocket stove building book number 3, which is the latest model. It's got lots of different examples of how to adapt to these rocket stoves to any particular house that you want to build it into. This one was built by a very clever English builder from Yorkshire, actually, where I'm from. It's made from a 200 litre oil barrel. Inside here, there's the entrance here to put the wood inside. There's a short burn tunnel. This is all made from fire bricks. Inside of this barrel, there is a chimney made of fire brick, and around the outside of that, there's a cylinder made of steel that's come from a disused electric water heater. And then the middle between the fire brick chimney and the metal sleeve on the outside is filled with something called perlite in English. And this is a non-combustible, very high quality insulation material, which actually causes a temperature difference between the inside and the outside of this device. So how it works basically is you put a small fire in here, and you just blow it so that the suction process starts. The wood is burnt completely in the short burn tunnel. The hot flame rushes up the middle of the chimney, and you can actually cook your dinner on the top of here. The chimney stops about 5 centimetres from the top of the barrel, and the gases fall down the outside. They're all gathered together at the bottom, and they come through this very big tube here, which is a 20 centimetre chimney tube. And this tube passes underneath this bench, which is made of rock from the garden, and it's full of rocks. So this is a thermal mass heater, and the hot gases from the stove are transferred into the stones inside this seat. And so all the time you've got a fire burning here, you're heating up the stones in the seat, and then what goes out the chimney goes out at only 40 degrees. So can you imagine you've got nearly 800 degrees in the burn tunnel and only 40 degrees going out of the chimney, which means that the rest of the the rest of the heat is staying in the room. Some of it is used actually to heat up the water that we use for washing up, and that's stored in a tank on the roof, which is part of a solar hot water system. So when there's no sun, we can make a fire here, heat up this room, warm up the water for washing up, and we're wasting nothing. And if you wanted to use the gases that come from here, which are carbon dioxide and water, you would simply build a greenhouse on the roof of this building, and you could grow some tomatoes in the middle of winter, because you would have 40 degrees of heat, carbon dioxide and water vapour, exactly what tomato plants like to grow best. So if I was building this again, I would build a greenhouse next door and use up that extra heat and that carbon dioxide and that water vapour. So this would be 100% efficient as a stove. So you'd be using 100% of the heat from the wood. That's what I call a really good invention. Okay, that's just one part. And it's all built with local product. This is earth from the top of the land here. These are stones out of the garden. These are stones out of the garden. All this stuff's built with recycled materials. The staircase was found in the garbage next to Casita Verde. The upright pillars that hold the bed up, they're from the forest upstairs. And the bed, that's from the garbage too. So the only pieces of wood that I actually bought here are these two pieces of plywood. Here for the dining table, you can have 4 people here having their dinner, watching the sunset. You can have somebody else sleeping on here. There's a double bed upstairs. In the ceiling here we have some special wood. This is an English invention called OSB. It's very cheap. It's made from compressed recycled wood or waste wood from the wood industry. And above there we have 5 centimetres of yak wool. That's the wool from those animals that live in the Gobi Desert. And it's what they use in the yurts, that's their family houses that they also use in the Gobi Desert to live in. And it's got a very high coefficient of insulation. So basically this room does not get hot in the summertime and it does not get cold in the winter. So even just that it has curtains on it instead of a door, you never actually get cold in here, not in Ibiza anyway, during the winter. And it stays very warm, and you can sleep up here in the summertime and it's not hot because the insulation in the ceiling is so good that it keeps you nice and cool. And if you just open the window at the back of the office, this is an office. I built this as a guest room actually, so I can invite my business friends and things to come and stay. They have an internet, they have a nice office, they have a bed upstairs, they can have their dinner here. It's nice and warm, it's nice and fresh in the summertime. Beautiful building, and the total price less than 250 euros for an absolutely beautiful room which has got everything in it. And that's what you can do with a bit of imagination and a few talented people from around the world. There's quite a few people who've been working on this. I've designed it myself, this room, but I've had lots of people helping me to build it. The walls here, by the way, they're made of bottles and they're stuck together with a mixture of red earth from Ibiza and building plaster, and then on the outside, because that's not a waterproof mixture, on the outside we've covered it with a mixture of cal, that's hydraulic lime, and sand from the cave that we have here underground, which is a bit like a sand quarry, if you like, or a cantera in Spanish. And then we've painted it with a mixture of cal and a natural colour. Okay, so this is completely natural building using recycled materials and things that we've actually been given from carpentry businesses and things like the windows and stuff. So we haven't spent any money here, and it's turned out into a very, very agreeable place to live.